Hey guys, foxprotomining here. Going to be doing a review today on a product that I recently purchased. As everyone knows, I'm going to call it, we're in a bear market right now. Prices are down. It's only looking like things are going to go further down, and GPU profitability is in the dumps. It's in the tubes. It's not looking good. So as a miner, I've been looking at other alternatives, and I stumbled upon this and decided to give it a shot. It's called the Ipollo V1 Mini Classic Wi-Fi Edition. They are currently selling for $893 direct from Ipollo. I did order two of these. I ordered one direct from Ipollo, which I have not yet gotten because I'm still waiting for it to clear customs. So if you are United States, this is coming out of Hong Kong, there is potentially a 25% duty that you may end up paying. However, I also ordered one of these off of eBay. It was about $1,100 with shipping to get it here. It came within a week. There was no duty that I had to pay. I'm assuming that was tied into the shipping that I paid. Not 100% sure, not an expert on that. But I did get it, and it is hashing so that I could do this video. So some basic details about this, which you guys can check this out as well. I'll have links down in the description to everything I go over. It lists the hash rate at about 130 megahash at 104 watts. That is pretty impressive. That is a very stellar rate for hash rate consumption. I mean, to get 130 megahash on Ethereum, I mean, you can't even get that out of a single 3080. I mean, maybe you can, maybe you can't, but you're not going to get it for 104 watts. 3080 is probably honestly going to use about 3 times that to achieve the same hash rate. And even if you get the A series, A2000s, A4000s, you're still not going to get quite this level of efficiency. So it is an interesting product. It is a little, I don't even want to say it's pricey because, I mean, for the cost of a motherboard, for the cost of a power supply, for the cost of GPUs, I mean, $893 is pretty competitive for what this is. I'm gonna jump a little bit more now. It's listed at 130, but I have it right here, WK01. Currently hashing at 155 with a 24-hour average of 159 megahash. Almost 160 megahash on a 24-hour average, and this thing is pulling about 110 watts at the wall. That is damned impressive. If I jump over to what to mine, this is just the standard 130, 104, and this is at 12 cents. So this is, you know, what kind of a good average for what most of us here in the US are paying. Ethereum Classic, $1.70, and other options here. Now I will note that for this particular model there is a drawback. Now you see this this price difference here in the V series for ETC miners. This is $893. This only has 3.6 gigabytes of RAM. This one, I believe, has 4.8 gigabytes of RAM, and I'm not going to cover this bad boy right here. But that could be a potential problem for people because we go to DAG size, ETC will hit 3.6 gigabytes in 2024 in May. So that means that this device has less than 2 years of time on Ethereum Classic before it's no longer usable. Now there are a few other projects that you can run it on. Obviously, I believe Expanse, you can run it on that until 2025. There's not a lot of profit there, but I mean, there's some. I'm curious about Ubiq. I haven't actually tried to connect it to Ubiq yet. I'm pretty sure that it will work, and if it does, it can actually run on Ubiq for the foreseeable future. I think if we switch over to Ubiq here, 3.6 gigabytes, 2043. It's 20 years. Granted, you know, Ubiq is not a large project, but it has survived a bear market before. It's still here. It's still profitable. Not excessively so, but 86 cents is still pretty respectable. So, and you get, and that's 20 years of 86 cents, assuming that you can mine it for that long. That's not bad before you have to throw this thing away. So I'm kind of looking at it, and I went ahead and bought it. This is the screen, your login screen. So you have to log into it like you would an ASIC. So you'll get the IP address on your network, and then you'll find what that is. You'll need like a network scanner or log into your router and look at devices on your network to find the IP address for this. It'll be listed as Ipollo device and a random IP address that's assigned to it, and then you can log into it. And once you're into it, you'll get this screen. You'll also note absolutely everything in here is in Chinese. So we have to kind of come up here, and this is why, most of your browsers can do this. Not all of them can, but we can translate this into English so we can see it all. For some reason, I'm not 100% sure, but it's only saying that it's doing like 74.5 hashes or something along those lines. But I was a little concerned about that at first, but we are posting good hash rates. So I'm only concerned with what I'm seeing poolside, and what I'm seeing poolside is great. So I just ignore this really. The fan RPMs and temp I pay attention to. We're at a 1% rejection rate on shares, which isn't terrible. When you get in, you can go into this tab's usually blank, but this is really important. I know I'm kind of doxing my addresses here, but I wanted to show this doesn't get shown. Like in every single review video I have seen for this device, this step is you kind of got to struggle through. So you want to you need to list all three pools. You can either do the same or you can do different pools. It doesn't matter, but the device really likes it when you have multiple pools, because if it disconnects, it'll reconnect to one of these other pools, I guess. But when you first get these, most of the time they're tuned into ant pool, which if we go into mining pool here, Ethereum Classic, so F2 pool and ant pool are like the two that it's like automatically set to, and it's automatically set to mine to Ipollo, so it's going to mine to their wallet when you first plug it in. So you need to change that. If you're going to stay on ant pool or F2 pool, you need to create an account and follow the steps. And on this screen, instead of a wallet address here, you're just going to put your sub account, which will probably be a username that you create on either one of those, and you just plug that in, and then dot, and then your worker identifier. Now, if you're like me though, and you're also mining with GPUs, and say you want to mine to 2 miners, or you want to mine to any other pool on the network, really, like Ethermine or pretty much anything else, it was really frustrating for me because there was no support for this at all, really. Their support team did answer me, but they just referred me back to the guide on the main website, which, if I like go in there and look at it, it's decently detailed on, like, the device. It shows you the front and back of the device, and it goes over how to set it up, but it really doesn't tell you much about where to put your wallet address information, which is, like, really important. So when you're setting this up, make sure that you set your stratum to whatever you need for your pool to log in, just like you would in T-Rex or Red Team Miner, or whichever mining OS you're using. You want to take the pool address that you would put into that, and then take your wallet address and put it into user, put a period, and then whatever you want your worker to be called. And then make sure you input to all 3 addresses, either the same or, backups to the same wallet address, same worker ID. And once you save that in under my...
Sorry guys, I made an oops. Click on miner configuration.
But yeah, you'll be able to edit all this. and this is in Chinese again, but this button right here is like the save and reboot. Yeah. So yeah, there it is. Store and apply. That is what you want to do. So once you change everything, you're going to click that. It's going to pop up. It's going to say, we're going to make these changes in the next 90 seconds. It'll do its thing, and then you want to check back to information overview. At first, this will probably be blank, or it'll say these are all dead, and then slowly it'll come on and do its thing. Unless you have a bad unit, in which case you'll be getting a fault light on the unit itself. It's a little red light. If it's flashing, you probably don't have your internet plugged in, which is what I did the first time, so don't do that. But if it's solid red, then you have some fatal error with the device and you need to get it returned. These are coming from Hong Kong, unless you have a local source for them. So, you know, shipping is not gentle and they might not survive. The logs don't make any sense to me, so I'm not even going to touch those. You can change your password. You can do the firmware updates and reboot the system all from in here. I would recommend, when you change it over from the factory settings that you get, to go ahead and save this and then do a reboot, just for the sake of making sure that it's not going to go back to any of the factory settings. And yeah. Also, for people who are new to this, or even people who have been doing this for a while, make sure that you save this to like a bookmark. Like, go up to here and hit the bookmark. It is so much easier to log back into this device, and you can create a folder in your favorites, and you can label this Worker 1. That way, if you get more than one of these and you need to log into one specifically, you have a folder and quick links already ready to go. It'll save you so much time and headache, and I plan on doing that with all mine. So I am going to do a split take. I'm going to go to my cell phone and I'm going to show you my unit that I have downstairs and just kind of go over it a little bit with you guys. It's not going to be anything super in depth. It's just going to show you everything. But in recap, guys, profitability right now is about $1.70 a day, or $2 total on these units. Not terrible for what it is. You've got till May of 2024 on these units before you need to switch to an altcoin, something that's still going to be mineable on the Ethash algo. You can, if you want to spend the money, you can get the 4.8 gig model. That's mineable until like 2028 or something to that effect. Or if you got a lot of money, you can get the dedicated server units. These are pretty comparable to Jazz miners. If you're not familiar with Jazz miners, you can look those up. I'll have a link to Jingle Miner down below, which is a supplier of those that's reputable. They're pretty much on the same concept as these, same efficiency, slightly different lineup that you can utilize. They also are making an ETH miner for this, for Ipollo. It's significantly more expensive. To me, personally, I'm not looking at anything that's Ethereum mineable until Ethereum decides what the hell they're doing, if they're going to jump into this merge, or if they're going to abandon it. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but, you know, Ethereum has a piss poor track record with, you know, figuring out what it's doing. So I'm not going to spend an extra penny on something that's not necessarily going to earn me any extra money. You know, the only advantage to these is they would have more RAM, which means they could mine something like Ethereum Classic for a longer time frame. Which, if you're like me, that's what you're doing right now, profitability-wise. You're looking at Ethereum Classic, not Ethereum, for long-term mining. I'm also looking at other projects, but for the sake of these devices specifically, my primary project that I'm looking at is going to be Ethereum Classic. My secondary project would be Ubiq, and beyond that, there's not a whole lot going on for these things. So buy at your own risk. I'm not investing super heavily into them, but, you know, when it comes to buying something in a bear market, you know, GPUs are getting really cheap, which is great, but their profitability is also in danger right now. So I'm trying to aim for as efficient as possible. So that's it for this segment, guys. I'm going to flop over to a different segment, and we're going to be showing you the actual device itself. Hey there, guys. Fox Protocol again here in the second segment. As you can see, this is my Ipollo Mini. I'm going to do a size comparison here. So that is my hand. So I have normal sized hands. We'll just say that. So it's about the size of my hand. It does come with Wi-Fi capability. I do not have mine plugged in, obviously, because I am hardwired. It comes with this pretty big old power supply here that's got a 2-wire that comes in. Oh, ignore my mess, guys, that you're going to be able to see. I don't know what you can see and what you can't. I'm probably in your way. But this is the back side of the unit. It's got the 2 6-pin connectors, reset button, pretty standard stuff, and your fault indicator light, and your everything is okay. They recommend that you run these on 220, but this power supply is rated for 100 to 240 volt, so I'm not sure what's up with that. With it only pulling 100 watts, I don't see why that would be a problem. I have this hooked into one of my Nerd Gear's power supplies. My cat is bombing my video. Hi, kitty. But yeah, so I mean, it's got 2 fans. It's not really loud. I mean, even when it really spools up, it's not like your typical ASIC miner where it's gonna like spool up and be incredibly noisy and then kind of calm down a little bit. You know, this is something you could legitimately run in your house or next to your computer, and it really wouldn't bother you that much. So, I mean, the case is kind of bland. There's not really much going on with it. There's not a whole lot of buttons or doohickeys. It's just pretty simplistic, and honestly, I love it for that. So, but that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching. Sorry if this drug on for a little bit. This is my review of the Ipollo Mini.